Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're diving straight into the fascinating historical and linguistic origins of the founder of Christianity. But there's a twist. We're doing this entirely through the lens of a really specific, kinda quirky dual-language source text. So let's settle in and explore exactly what this text has to show us. To kick things off, let's just ask this big, fundamental question, right? How exactly does a Hebrew prophet named Yeshua become known all over the world as Jesus Christ? Seriously, think about it. It's this wild story where ancient traditions, language, history, and translation all just kind of collide.
All right, part one, the founder of Christianity.
So, looking at the text, it straightforwardly identifies Lord Jesus Christ as the absolute founder of Christianity, or the Christian religion. I mean, he's presented here not just as some historical figure passing through, but as the literal cornerstone of a major world faith. This really gives us our definitive starting point for everything else we're going to talk about.
Now, he isn't just called a founder. The source specifically frames him as a prophet, and this is absolutely crucial. You see, he isn't just acting alone in a vacuum. He's positioned as the continuation of this deeply ancient tradition of prophets. It's like he's pulling these long-standing threads of history right forward.
Moving right along to part two, the journey of a name. Okay, this is where the mechanics of language get super fascinating. We start out with the Hebrew origins, right? Yeshua, or Yeshua. Then, as it gets translated into English, the pronunciation shifts over to Jeshua. But then we hit step 3, and get this. The translation uses a really specific word here. It actually states the pronunciation became, quote-unquote, distorted to form the widely known name Jesus. It's such a great reminder that, wow, historical translations are just messy. They shift and morph over time until a completely new standard is born.
Okay, let's get into part 3, the birth in Bethlehem.
So, interestingly enough, the text highlights that there are actually 4 entirely distinct theories regarding his birth. 4. It openly acknowledges that, yeah, there are differing historical opinions out there, but it then totally zeroes in on just one specific theory to actually tell the story.
And that chosen narrative? Well, it's identified by a very precise and honestly kinda unique phrase. It calls it the Luke Act theory. The Luke Act. It's just a really fascinating linguistic choice in this translation, and it totally sets the stage for the specific series of events we're about to see unfold.
Geographically speaking, this theory paints a crystal clear picture. It maps out a physical journey that starts from the family's home village of Nazareth and then travels all the way to their final destination of Bethlehem, which is where the birth actually happened. Seeing this contrast really helps us immediately grasp the movement and the whole setting of the narrative. Now here's where it gets really distinct. This specific narrative brings together a highly unique cast of characters. Obviously we have Mary, the virgin, and her husband Joseph, the carpenter. But then the translation introduces some completely unexpected figures. It literally mentions fairies arriving to call him the Messiah, and a group of cowherds who show up to pray. I mean, wow, right? It's just such a fascinating and distinct interpretation of the events.
Actually, you know what? Listen to this exact verbatim wording right out of the translation. Quote, "When Jesus Christ was born, fairies came there and called him the Messiah, and a group of cowherds reached to pray to him." End quote. It really goes to show how the specific words a translator chooses can so profoundly shape our mental image of a story. Throwing fairies and cowherds into the mix gives this classic, well-known narrative a totally unexpected cultural flavor.
So, looking at how a name like Yeshua distorts into Jesus, or how a specific translation suddenly introduces fairies into the nativity scene, well, it leaves us with a whole lot to ponder, doesn't it? Like, how do these translation choices and little linguistic quirks actively construct the historical narratives we study today? Think about it. History isn't just about what happened, it's about the very words we use to pass it down to the next generation. Keep questioning those words, keep analyzing, and I will catch you in the next explainer.